Hi, this is Linda, and I'm with Ashley, and we are part of. Welcome to the Blue Star Connection, where ministers of the Order of the Blue Star share our experiences of life with you. The Blue Star is a symbol that represents ushering in a new world, a new way of life in the Aquarian age. It was founded by Christopher Timms, who's been sharing the ancient wisdom since 1988. You can find out more about everything on his website, which is ChristopherTimms.com. So I'm Linda, and I'm here with Ashley, and we are doing our podcast tonight on daily rituals that can change your life. And I have some things to share, and then Ashley has some things to share, and then at the end we've got some questions. So maybe all of you guys have things that you want to share too. And we have a chat box, so you can always type into the chat box, and we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll read out what you have to say, and we'll talk about it. Okay. So, looking at my notes. Okay, so I have a quote that's from Gandhi that really impressed me a long time ago. I used to have it up on my bulletin board. So, it goes like this. Keep your thoughts positive, because your thoughts become your words. Keep your words positive, because your words become your behavior. Keep your behavior positive, because your behavior becomes your habits. Keep your habits positive, because your habits become your values. Keep your values positive, because your values become your destiny. I have a quote from Aristotle also. He says, "We become what we repeatedly do." So I'm going to start out by asking, what do we want in our life? So I want to be the best that I can be. I want to meet my highest potential. I want to find the meaning of life in my heart and pursue that. So what things do we truly desire? And they aren't things that other people are wanting us to do. They're not based on self-judgment about things that we think we should do. These are things that we actually want, we really want. So what is the need we are trying to meet? What is the state we are trying to achieve? What is the skill we are trying to master? How do we turn a lofty goal into a reality? So one of the ways to do that is to craft a ritual around it. So most everything that we want to accomplish in life is gained by taking small, consistent steps over time, not all at once and then done. I wish it was, but it's not. So it's easy to be excited about starting something, and then you jump in with both feet. But then the excitement fades after a little while, and then maybe you slow down or stop before you really achieve what you were thinking of. And we start finding reasons maybe not to do it, and it starts to become something that's more like a discipline that we're trying to force ourselves to do rather than something that we're really passionate about. And I much prefer passion to discipline, definitely. So, let's see. So we all have patterns that we follow, and they have momentum behind them, but they aren't necessarily helping us get to where we want to go. So we can make new patterns by crafting rituals. Start by identifying what you really want. Just one thing at a time. Just one thing in a ritual. So it's very specific. Find something that you really value, something from your inner core. Find the deepest meaning and motivation that you can. So describe the end result that you want to see. What will it look like when you succeed? See if you could describe it and envision it. And use all your sensations. If you can see and taste and smell and hear and feel as much as you can to make a really good picture in your imagination, that's going to help. Then another thing to do is to see how you can break something big down into small steps. Don't try to do a complete makeover of your whole life all at once. Take it easy. Just start. Just start. You don't have to accomplish everything right away. Remember the story of the tortoise and the hare. I feel like a tortoise a lot. I don't feel like a hare very much, but yeah, sometimes if I will get into something and then I don't want to stop and I push and push and I go and go and then I burn myself out and then I don't want to do it anymore. So slow and easy is good because you want to be relaxed. You don't want to be pushing. So you also want to celebrate your advances. You don't want to scold yourself for not making as much progress as you wanted to, because we all have cycles. Life is full of cycles, and we have productive days and we have slow days, and we have days when life just seems to get in the way of everything. So every day is going to be different from the other, so you can't judge yourself. And think about timing. Is it something that you want to do every day, or is it something you want to do 3 times a week, maybe once a week, maybe only once a month? But it doesn't have to be every day. It depends on what it is, what makes sense. And sometimes it can be something that's just based on circumstances, like if you've had a really stressful day, more than usual, and there's a ritual that you want to make that you know always calms you down, always. So you just kind of have that in your back pocket, and if you have one of those days, you know what to do. You've already, if you want to get in the bathtub with some aromatherapy and play some music and light some candles. I know that's a girl thing, but, it's nice. It's like, but just have something. If, take a walk with the dog or whatever, just something that always works for you, and have that in your back pocket. And there's also good circumstances. There's like celebrating something, anything. It can be, for somebody in your family. It can be for something good that happened at work. It can be that you made progress, that you reached a milestone. there's lots of things that you can celebrate, and celebrating is good too, because it's, it's giving yourself credit for, or appreciating something good that happened and making a big deal out of it, because why not, right? And you can make a ritual for family time if that's a goal that you have. Make a ritual for what you do, when you do it, how you do it with your family. You can make a ritual for fun, which you need to do if you're a workaholic and you never take a break and you never do anything fun. Then you can make a ritual for that so that you'll get that done, because it'll make you healthier if you have some fun here and there. It's not always work. So you have to believe in your power to actually do it. You have to know that you can start it, and starting it is the big deal, because once you start, then the next time is a little bit easier and a little bit easier and a little bit easier, like these podcasts. And so you have to want to do your best. That doesn't mean judging yourself and doing 100% all the time, but for that day, for that time, with what's going on in your life, can you do your best? And best can change from day to day, but if you're committed to doing your best, even if it's just a little bit, that's better than just saying, well, I'm not going to do it today because I don't feel like it. Just do a little bit, but really do it. And let's see. So yes, some of us set our standards too high. I'm one of those. Yeah, I've always been a perfectionist, and I think a lot of us learn that from our parents too. And it's like, if you don't get straight A's in school, then you're not doing your best, or and that's, if we're, we may be programmed by our parents or by society on how good we have to be at something, but we're all different, and we have different levels of being good at things. So yes, so we have to be forgiving of ourselves and say, okay, maybe I did it great yesterday, but I didn't do so well today. That's okay. It doesn't matter. It's just one day at a time. It's just one day at a time. And we need to give ourselves credit. Don't berate ourselves, but give ourselves credit for whatever we did do. And look at what you're wanting to do and make sure that it's really something that you're passionate about, that it's not just like the latest trend, or something that you saw on social media, or a bunch of your friends are doing it, or your family's doing it, or you can't just do it because other people are saying, do this, we're all doing it and it's really great. And it's like, well, if you don't want to, maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's not for you. So just make sure you want it yourself. And yes, the key to any good ritual is that it removes the need to make a decision. I like that, because I know I can get caught up in trying to plan for something, that there's something I want to do, and I think, well, what do I need for it? How do I prepare for it? And I start going around in circles in my head, and I make it hard to do, to where I've worn myself out before I actually do it. So, I mean, once you've done it once and you know how it goes, then you just keep doing that. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. You craft a ritual once and then you repeat it, because repetition has got power. Repetition like creates an energetic structure that you step into, and so it gets stronger and stronger to where when you step into your space, all of you knows what you're trying to do and what's happening and how it's happening, and you're not having to think about it anymore. You're not having to think about it. So, doing a ritual. So, have a dedicated space. Set up the environment with what you need, and make it welcoming and make it easy for you. Create environmental cues that help get you psychologically ready. So it could be, it could be anything. It could be good lighting, it could be candlelight, it could be music of some sort or another. It could be a cup of tea or an energy drink. It could be pictures representing things that you want. It could be anything. It could be a nice view. Just think about your senses, sight and hearing and smell and taste. And the more that you get that involved, the more you create a space that feels good. And so a ritual is more than just a task. It's like a sacred pledge. It's a promise. You're making a promise to yourself that you are going to become this person that does this thing. And it's not just an idea in your head anymore. It's an action. It's actually happening in your life. And so don't specifically make deadlines necessarily, because that's a lot of pressure. If you like having deadlines to work toward, that could be motivating. But if you don't like deadlines and you start just feeling pressure, like, oh, I'm never going to make it, then you're into stress mode, and you're not gonna accomplish what you want to if you're stressed out about it. And you can create any kind of statement you want to start your ritual. It can be as simple as, I'm going to do my best today. And it doesn't have to have, I'm going to run 10 miles whether I like it or not. It could just be, I'm going to do my best today. And so whatever your best is, then you can allow it to be that way. Fully participate in your chosen actions. So don't have your mind wondering about what's for dinner and your emotions still feeling wonky from a fight you had with somebody earlier, and your body feeling achy and tired, and being pulled in all different directions. You want to pull everything together and try to be as present in all of your different levels as you can. One of the things Christopher talks about is the 3 A's, which is attitude, attention, and awareness. So when you step into a ritual, you want to have a good attitude, you want to be paying attention, and you want to be aware of what you're making happen, because that's going to get you the best results. It's what sets your trajectory for where you're trying to go. And when you close, when you're finished doing whatever you're doing, you can appreciate yourself for what you did. Have gratitude and be thankful that you showed up and you did it, whatever it is. And don't worry about the cycles of life where things go up and down and sideways. Just do what you can do every day, and it will pay off. Just little steps every day. It will become more second nature, and it will pay off. It'll get easier and easier. So the way to approach a ritual, let's see. So I want to embrace that part of me that aspires to something. I don't want to discipline that part of me that doesn't. I don't like discipline. And so the Tibetan Buddhism talks about the white path and the red path. And the white path is like being pulled into something because you feel called to it. And you are relaxed into it, and it feels good, and it's like a flow, and you're embracing it. The red path is about pushing, using force, using control, trying to make something happen just by your willpower and your discipline. And it doesn't have much of a flow. It's more like hard work. And you can do either path that you want to, but I like the embracing path. And just tiny actions can mean a lot. Just starting something and having it be just tiny, but you did it, so then you can build on it every day. And we tend to continue with things that seem to come naturally to us. Not everything comes naturally to everybody. There will be things that we have a certain interest in. We seem to be good at it right from the start. We want to keep going, and we seem to have a talent for it, a gift maybe, and it really suits us. And then there's some things that, maybe you try them and they just don't work for you. You thought it was a good idea, but it doesn't suit you. You just don't have a natural tendency to want to do that. It feels foreign. It feels like it's not meant for you. Maybe it works for other people, but it's not meant for you. So you have to explore different things. Like when I was a child, and so my parents sent me to different things to explore. I had piano lessons, I had dance lessons, I had church choir, I had campfire girls, I had all these different things. And, you have to experience something to know if it suits you, to know if you're good at it, to know if you like it. And so I still play piano, and I still sing, and I don't dance, and I don't camp. Those don't suit me as well, so I don't do them. I tried them, and they weren't my thing. So you have to find what your thing is. And there's an Einstein quote: "Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish for its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life feeling like it's stupid." So don't let anybody else tell you what's good for you or what would suit you. You have to figure it out for yourself. So there's certain paths that we don't like, and so remember Mary Poppins, just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. So if there's something you don't like, you can break it down into little teeny tiny things that aren't so bad, and so you don't dread them, and you can reward yourself afterwards. You can reward yourself for doing it. And you can remember things like maybe you don't like to clean house, but you can like the feeling of having a clean house. How does it make you feel? You know, what are all the advantages? And so if you could just do little things and then realize what the benefit was, that might help do it a little bit more. And let's see. Because we're in the Aquarian age, lots of things are changing faster than they ever have. The energies are moving faster, and they're working to uplift us and to give us more power to do things, to achieve things more quickly. And so we can kind of ride that wave of energy to help us, because it is, you know, we are at a special place in time, and it is, if you realize that and you think about, well, I'm going to harness these energies, it's going to help speed you along. And also, we can be a role model. We might want to be a role model for our children or our partner or people at work. That's a nice thing to think about, is you're benefiting other people as well. So we have good habits and we have bad habits, and we can look at our lives and see where we are really spending our time. And Christopher says we demonstrate what we value. So that's really interesting to contemplate, because if I'm look at how I spent my time the other day, and I say, well, if I was demonstrating what I valued, is that really, is that true, or is that just an old pattern with a bunch of momentum? But in truth, there's a lot better ways I would have wanted to spend my time if I would have really been thinking about it. So, and so there's things that we want to get rid of too. Like, we might have rituals that we've done since we were a child, or that we've done since we grew up, and maybe they don't serve us anymore at all. And we need to be able to get rid of them. And you can make that more clear also by having like a ritual or a ceremony. Like if you've got something that you want to let go of. When I used to go to Unity Church, we would have something every New Year's Eve. Everyone would write down on a little piece of paper what we wanted to let go of for the new year, and then we had a big bowl up in the front and candles, And so we would go up there with our little piece of paper and light it with the candle and put it in the bowl. And so symbolizing burning up the things that we don't want in our lives anymore. So that's a nice little ceremony that you can do to really concretely say, I'm giving this thing up. I don't want it anymore. And likewise, if you want to start something brand new, you can do kind of a little ceremony that says, I've decided I want to do this. It's really important to me. And you can make up any kind of little ritual that feels like you're making a pledge that's really important, that you're going to start something and you really mean it. You're really going to do it. If we've got things that we're trying to get rid of, we can look for cues in the environment, things that trigger us, and we can try to get rid of those or substitute things so that we don't have those constant reminders of what we used to do. And you can't just stop something without having a substitute, because it's like if you say, well, I'm just going to stop this. Well, it was meeting some sort of need that you had, some sort of desire, and if you just stop, it's like you create a vacuum and something will be sucked in, the same habit or a different habit or something, but it's like you can't just leave the void, because it will fill itself with something. So you have to think, well, what can I do as a substitute? What can I have on hand in my mind that I know whenever I want to do this, I'm going to do that instead? And you can link things to things that you already do. Like, if you have things that are routine in your life and you want to add something, see if it fits with something else that you already do, that it makes sense. Well, I could do this right after I do that. They flow together. And so if you attach one thing to another thing, then they become connected. Then when you do the one thing, you always do the other thing. And so, yes, so I have an example of that, just a really simple example. So, like, I don't like to take out a whole bunch of trash bags all at once. It's just too much. And then if I don't take them out, then it gets to be more, and then I dread it, and then it's a big deal, and then it's a chore, and I don't want to, and that whole thing. So I decided, well, how about every time that I got my keys in my hand and I'm headed out to the car, I grab a bag. Just throw it in the car and drive by the dumpster on my way out. Every time I go to the car, just grab one. So it's like I've linked it to something else, and it's no longer a chore. It's no longer a chore. I don't dread it. It doesn't back up. I don't procrastinate about it. And it's more like a ritual. It's just a little thing that I do instead of having it be a big thing. And, more about taking things in small steps. So, like when I was in college and we'd have to do research papers and projects and things like that. And we were supposed to do it in little steps and stages. We were supposed to make drafts, then add details, and then do editing and do tweaking, and then repeat that and do more, add more details, do more editing, and so on until you have a final product. I did not do that. I just wanted to wait till the last minute and then just do it all at once. And that did not work very well. It was difficult. It did not get me the best results. And so I kind of learned over time, gee, maybe that idea of just doing a little bit of it now and then a little bit of it tomorrow and a little bit of it tomorrow was going to work out a whole lot better in the long run. And wouldn't that be nice if I did that with my life, with my to-do list, with my goals and things? Just do little bits all the time. And so another thing you can do, you can find a role model. Find somebody that that you look up to, that they are very talented and successful at what you're trying to achieve. And you can find people that you hang out with that represent that to you. You can find new people to hang out with that represent what you want to become. And just being around them is going to, help give you the energy that of what it feels like to be successful with that. You can visualize what you want, but I know people talk about using affirmations. It works for some people and it doesn't work for some people. And what I have heard from Christopher and from others is set it up and let it go. So you try to visualize what you want really clearly using all your senses and really picture yourself enjoying that it's happened. Make it really real in your imagination that it's happened and how you're feeling about the fact that it's happened and you're living in it. And then let it go and stop thinking about it. Don't let it keep going on and on and on in your mind 24 hours a day. Just let the energy go. Just let it go, and it'll magnetize things needed to make that come true without you having to work at it really, really hard. Set it up and let it go. You can find groups and classes of people to do things with. Like if you want to learn dance, or you want to start exercising, or you want to bird watch, or you want to go to drum circles, or, find groups that you can go with and make that part of your life. Talking about doing things like that, my daughter is good at that. She used to have dance class in high school and college, and so now that she's grown and she has a 9-to-5 job, but she has joined a dance group. So they have weekly practices, they have routines they have to learn and practice at home, and they meet up and they have performances. So it's dance, which she likes, it's social, and it's also fitness. So, and she's accountable to other people, because if somebody doesn't show up, it messes up the whole routine. So she's got motivation to go do that every single week. And she does the same thing with flute, because she played flute since 6th grade and she wants to keep up her flute skills. So she joined a community orchestra. So she has to practice at home and meet up once a week, and she's accountable to be there and to know her parts. So it's like she has scheduled these things into her life to keep her life full of doing things that she wants to do. And speaking of music, I think music can make everything more fun. At least for me. But you can you can get different music, like say there might be music that you like to clean house to. There might be music that you use to chill out at the end of the day. Music to meditate with, music for whatever. You can make yourself little playlists, and you know how long they are, and so you can just start the music and start doing what you're doing, and you know when you're approaching the end because you know the music, and it's like it just helps with the programming in your mind to associate the music with what you're doing. If you're somebody that doesn't like to take breaks, you can set an alarm to get yourself to take breaks. You can give yourself a reward for good behavior. Whatever that reward might be, sometimes it's nice. So, with food's a big thing. I don't know that you call it a ritual, but like one of the things that my daughter does, because she works and she wants to take good, healthy food for lunch, otherwise she'll just have to get fast food across the street. And she wants to have nice dinners at home without having to go to a lot of trouble, because she just worked all day. So she started with an app on her phone for meal planning. And so she chooses the recipes for the week. It prints out a grocery list, and it's like a weekend ritual. She chooses the food, she goes out, she shops, she comes home, and she does all the preparation. And it's all done. And then the whole week she doesn't even have to think about it. She just, it's all ready to go. It's all ready to go. No trouble at all. I do that with green drinks, because there's like several ingredients. There's like bee pollen and spirulina and chlorella and protein powder and, stuff. And so what I started doing is I got a bunch of little containers that are just the right size to hold all the little scoops of all my things. It's all powder. And so then I have them, and so when I want to make a green drink in the morning, I just pour almond milk in my blender, dump the powder in, hit the button, and it's done. I don't have to recreate it every morning from scratch with all the different things. Let's see. And I'm missing a page. Okay. There is a book about parenting that I got when my kids were little, and one of the things that it suggested was when you're talking to your child to say things like, the clock says it's time for bed. So you are not the bad guy. You are not the disciplinarian. The clock says it's time for bed. And so if you're one of those people that really respects what the clock says, and you can make that work for you, then that's a different way to think about it from discipline. When it's like, oh, the clock says it's time for me to do this. Then, I'm still working on that, because I don't follow the clock as well as I could. But yeah. There's a ritual I do at night when I go to bed. I just recall all of the things that I accomplished, whether it's just 2 or 3 things, 6 or 7 things, whatever. I say, good for me. I accomplished these things today, and I'm happy about it. And then I think about what I want to accomplish tomorrow. And may or may not all happen, but I can say, as I'm going to sleep, tomorrow I would like for this, 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 and this to happen. And it's all positive. There's no negatives. There's no scolding or anything. And So to wind up my part, what I'm going to say, I saw a sentence today that I really liked. Says we make choices, but also our choices make us. And so, yes, it's like a feedback loop, because you make a choice, but then the choice makes you be the kind of person that makes that kind of choice, and it goes in a cycle to, the more good choices you make, then the more likely you are to become the person that makes good choices. So so it works that way. And so I really think rituals can lift things out of the ordinary. It's not just a to-do list. It's body, mind, and spirit. It's uplifting, it's elevating. It's a different attitude. It's more sacred, it's more committed, it has a positive vibe to it, and that's why I like rituals. So I'm going to pass it over to Ashley.
Thanks, Linda. Very good. Okay, so mute yourself. Okay, so I'm let's see, habits. The difference between habits and rituals. Habits are automatic, they're unconscious behaviors, and they're aimed at efficiency. While ritual, like Linda was saying, are intentional, meaningful actions, and they're designed to create purpose or connection. They're more sacred. And the habit is what you do, whereas a ritual is how you do it with intention. And, the other thing that's important is the why. Like, why am I doing this thing? And the ritual is like the how and the why. And the habit is just the why. And rituals make ordinary actions extraordinary by adding focus and emotional significance. But really, it just comes down to repetitiveness and understanding why you're doing something the way you're doing it. And then we have routines. So when you're doing something automatically, it's no longer a ritual, it's more of a routine. And the ritual is the actual organization of your time. I'm going to get back to that. So each habit or ritual asks one question: who are you becoming? So when you meditate, you are becoming someone who honors stillness. And when you pause before reacting, you become someone who lives consciously. And when you practice gratitude, you become someone who sees abundance. Your identity is not a belief, it's the accumulation of the repeated actions. One thing I like to think of like a daily ritual is it puts you in the role of Pluto. So you are the creator and the destroyer of patterns. And so, if you're thinking, astrologically, then that is helpful. And then, let me see here. So becoming spiritually, when you look at an enlightened individual and why they're so powerful, it's because they have a very good understanding of how time works. And they know how to utilize their time and they waste no time. And because this is the land of creation, and these days we're making all these fake new realities with social media, and they just cover our eyes, and it's trying to hide us from the aspect that you are a creator in this realm, and you have the infinite amount of potential to create and manifest the evolution of consciousness. And you have to understand time. And there's a reason why the clock hypnotizes us. And we just give our time away, and it just, like, I know with like scrolling social media, I mean, a lot of times I will set a timer because I already have a set on my phone, like 30 minutes a day, and I have all the apps that included in that, and it'll say your time, you spent your time, and what do? Ignore limit. So, and that's just like a, automatic pattern, and it's just like, but I am then also aware that, yes, now I'm over my time. But what seems to be more useful for me is, okay, I'm cleaning and I'm ready to take a break and I'm going to get on my phone, I'll set a 5-minute timer with the intention I'm only going to go on whatever I'm looking at on my phone for 5 minutes, and then it dings and I'm like, okay, time is up. And that works better than the former.
Mm-hmm.
And we literally do get paid for our time and energy, and we don't approach time like the ancients did, or the highly enlightened individuals, which they follow the patterns of life and understanding the seasons. And that's one thing over the past few years, maybe more than a few years, is I've really make it intentional to connect with the seasons. And I'll talk about that later. Going with the rites of passage that the solar system's going through, and this is why they've muddled Christmas and Halloween, and we're not going through these rituals anymore. We're going through routines, and we buy candy because kids come to the door, when really there's an actual reason why we're doing that, but nobody really knows what the reason is, because it's Halloween. I mean, I was taught that, get my costume on, go trick-or-treating, get candy, and then as I got older, give out candy. And then as I grew more spiritually, then I'm like, what's really going on here? Because this is crazy. And so, the ancient world dealt with meaning, and we as a modern world deal with motion. And so, like, for example, with Halloween, I mean, during that time, I'm focused more on like Samhain and the Wheel of the Year, and honoring my ancestors. And I also I can feel all of the energies now. And so, I mean, when you look up the history of Halloween, or I think it was the ancient Celts, they would put out food on their door because of the wandering spirits. And so with evolution and time, that's turned into people come, I don't know how it got there, but I can only imagine that if someone is hungry, they're going to probably go up and get the food on people's doors. And then now we have to where we're trick-or-treating. And I'm sure there's a lot more history to all of that as well. But, I mean, I feel like going through the routines of Christmas, Thanksgiving, or Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and then it's just like at the end you just kind of feel empty. I mean, like I'm like, what just happened? When I haven't put more meaning into those actual rituals or those routines, right? And so now I sit with that energy more and give it more of a purpose so that I do feel full by the end of that wild season. So what is most important between the routine and the ritual is the meaning that you give it. Just give it meaning. And, you know, when practicing any type of ritual, you know, you think, okay, for example, we use Samhain during the Halloween season, which is one of the times in the wheel of the year. And yeah, I'm sure there's many practices and rituals people did, but you have to make it unique to you. And what are you actually going to do to be fulfilled during that time? Are you going to have like an ancestor altar, or you know, bake treats or decorate? And you know, it's whatever's going to work for you is what's going to be the most meaningful, right? There's guidelines. There's guidelines. There's not actual rules. And the best way to get in touch with that will is to take the simple little bites of creating new rituals. Like, because you're climbing the ladder to God or to oneness, to Jacob's ladder, and we need to understand how important time is, and it's not for the wasting. Ancient man dealt with survival, and modern man deals with distractions. And so the distractions are our biggest threat. And falling into routines and not seeing the magic anymore, or not seeing the angels that are right above the threshold, because we're so distracted by what's down here, right? The routine has dominated over the importance of what the significance of something being done has. And it's not just what we do, it's how we do it and why we're doing it. And people do not want to ask the how or why. So those things need to be, you know, reflected upon. So here we go. Let me go back here.
I can't.
Hello? No, I can't hear anything. Oh, I heard somebody.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
I don't even know what I did. Okay. Whatever. I was like, I haven't touched anything. Okay.
2 minutes.
Okay. All right. So I want to discuss a little bit about the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. Quickly, I guess. Has anyone ever read this book or ever heard of it?
No, but I have an ebook on my computer by James Clear that is also about habits, but it's not that one. Isn't that interesting?
Oh, yeah, that is interesting.
What are the odds?
Yeah.
Well, it definitely deserves a space on everyone's bookshelf, and it's a good book to listen to. I like to listen to my books. So just putting it on or rereading it, every once in a while, like every couple of years, is definitely helpful. And basically, he talks about a slight change in your daily habits can guide your life to a very different destination. And an example he uses in the book is like, imagine a plane taking off and traveling from New York to LA, and just before taking off you adjust the plane slightly by 3 degrees or about 80 inches. If you were to keep flying in a straight line, you would actually end up closer to Tijuana in Mexico than the intended destination of LA.
Wow.
And so this is the same thing goes for our habits. And those tiny changes in our habits can change the trajectory of our lives in ways that we cannot even notice until many years into the future looking back, in both good ways and bad ways. And let's see here. So when we convince ourselves that massive success is only possible through massive action in any goal we're pursuing, so we expect to make some quantum leap and momentous improvement that will gain others' attention, but it's really like the tiny improvements that are not even noticeable at first that create incredible change. And 1% better every day over a year will compound to 37 times better, but 1% worse every day over a year will obviously be more to 0. And the truth about progress, when you start an endeavor in your life, you think that you should be in a linear progress, right? But really what actually happens is more of a curve. And so the time in the beginning of the curve is going to be way down here for a certain amount of time and then shoots up. So the small changes aren't even noticeable, and he refers to like that time at the bottom as the valley of disappointment. And so you've done so much and you put in so much effort, you've been doing this thing every day, but you barely see any results. And this is where most people fail and slip back into their old routines. And so the most powerful outcomes of any compounding process are delayed, so patience is required. And another thing he talks about is goals versus systems. And he says, forget about goals and focus on systems instead. And, a goal is a result of what you want to accomplish. And the system deals with the processes that lead to the results. So, conventionally, wisdom suggests the best way to achieve anything you want in life, like such as getting in better shape or creating a successful business or spending time with family, is to set a specific, realistic, and measurable goal. But he explains that if you completely ignored your goals and focused only on systems, that you will succeed. And then he also mentions that successful and unsuccessful people all share the same goals. So therefore, a goal cannot be what differentiates winners from losers. So achieving a goal only changes your life for a moment in time. Like, let's say running a marathon, and then now you've ran the marathon, and then what? And so, there's that momentum, aspect, like either you sign up for another one or, are you going to keep up with those habits? And he states that goals are good for setting direction, but systems are best for making progress. And the problem with changing your habits is not you. The reason why you repeat the same bad habit for so long isn't because you don't want to change. It's because you have the wrong system for the change. And the atomic habits are small routines and behaviors that accumulate to produce incremental positive outcomes over time. And just as atoms are the building blocks of molecules, atomic habits are the building blocks for the remarkable results. Let's see. And he discusses the habit loop, which is something that's been repeated enough times that it becomes automatic. And ultimately, we want our habits to evolve, to solve problems in our lives with the least amount of effort. And a habit is formed and reinforced by means of continuous feedback loop, which is cue, craving, response, and reward. And the key to creating habits that stick is to create feedback loops that are continuously being improved. So, for example, a cue is that the phone rings or dings or buzzes. And then the craving is you want to know who messaged. And then the response would be you pick up the phone. And the reward is that now you solved the problem of who messaged. So another cue, example of the feedback loop, is the cue is your mind goes blank at work. The craving is you want to alleviate the frustration. The response is you check social media. And the reward is you satisfy the need to feel less frustrated. But over time, the rewards become associated with the cues. So in that example, checking social media becomes tied to your mind going blank at work. Then checking Facebook may be the cue to check Instagram, may be the cue to check YouTube. And then before you know it, your mind goes, going blank cue has led to 20 minutes of wasted time. So the more you repeat the habit loops, whether good or bad, the stronger and the more automatic they become. And cues can be anything: a smell, sight, a person, a location. And so, try to think of any cues in your daily life that are initiating good or bad habit loops. And the book shows 4 laws that will guide you to do just that. And the laws, we don't have time to really discuss all of that, but like the first law is make it obvious. The second law is make it attractive. The third law is make it easy. And the fourth law is make it satisfying. And so, making it obvious is most of your current habits are so automatic that you don't even realize them. And so you have to become aware of them and to change them. And so he has a habit scorecard, and I think you can, at least with the audiobook, I think you can get access to the PDF somewhere. It's been so long since I did that, but and I mean, you really don't need the actual habit scorecard. All you need to do is write down all your daily behaviors And from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, and it may look like this. One thing is wake up, second thing is hit snooze, then turn off your alarm, check your phone, go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, go to the kitchen. So every single little step throughout your day. And then going through it and putting a positive sign next to it, a negative sign next to it, or an equal sign for neutral, so that then you're able to determine, which you're determining it. I mean, you might want someone else to look at it and see what their ideas are for it. But, what things could be adjusted, right? And you want to base it on what is going to make you become the person that you're trying to aspire to be. And during that step, though, you're not trying to change anything. You're just trying to observe it and become aware. And a good quote by Carl Jung is, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." And so this habit scorecard is something that, it's like, bam. Because, we're in control. It's just a matter of taking the time to become aware of everything. And then he says set a time and a place. It's easy to say one day I'll get in shape, and then it's the next day and the next day and the next week and Monday. But this is too vague to get any momentum. So what you need is a time and a place. And then habit stacking, he discusses that, and that's another good way to get a habit started. And so his formula is basically after current habit, I will new habit. So example would be after I brush my teeth, I will stretch for 5 minutes. And the chain of habits is more likely to be sustained because you already practiced the one habit consistently. And trigger cues can be essential, and it could be something that you do automatically without fail during the day, such as waking up, turning off your alarm, or brushing your teeth. So, putting it with that can help if you're trying to add something new. And environment versus motivation. And so he explains how motivation is highly overrated, and you can better shape your behavior by designing your environment and, putting things out. Like if you're trying to drink more water, having water bottles out already placed. If you smoke cigarettes, don't have them anywhere. Get rid of the ashtrays, get rid of the cigarettes. Don't have them where you can easily get them, right? And have you can have zones, like your reading zone or your art zone or your workout area, and keep those zones sacred to what they're labeled as. And breaking a bad habit, making it invisible. So putting your phone in the other room for a few hours if you're having trouble getting work done, or removing junk food from your house if you're trying to lose weight, or out of sight. The out of sight doesn't really work based on my experience. Because when you want it, you're going to find it. It's the law of grocery carts. Is like whatever you buy, you're going to eat. So, and it's difficult whenever you live with other people, and when you're trying to make that change, but they're not. The second law is make it attractive, and just he explains how dopamine works and how it affects your body. And basically dopamine's released not only when we experience pleasure, but also when we anticipate it. So like gambling addicts have a dopamine spike right before they place a bet, but not after they win, that's why it's so addicting. The winning part is not even the spike. It's the placing the bet, the anticipation of what's going to happen. And that's why most gambling addicts lose their money, or it wouldn't be a disorder, right? And drug addicts actually increase dopamine when they see the drugs, but not after taking them, unless it's cocaine. But otherwise, the dopamine is actually before the process or has been done. So, making something attractive is you're going to get more. I don't want to use the word addicted, but you're going to get those dopamine spikes ahead of time. And then temptation building is the bundling process that makes a habit more attractive by combining an action that we need to do with one that we want to do. So like you can bundle watching Netflix, something you want to do, with working out. A lot of times I'm actually listening to the weekly wisdom call while I'm working out or while I'm prepping food, because that's something I want to do, something I need to do. And as Linda said before, group influence, and then finding a group that can help and having that accountability, right? And then reprogramming your brain to enjoy the hard habits, like making them more attractive. You can learn to associate them with a positive experience, and you can do this by highlighting the benefits of it, like such as fitness equals health and well-being, not fatigue. Because our brains, our minds, we tend to automatically go to the negative. It's, like
Okay.
You can hear me now?
Yes, there was buzzing. Maybe a cable has a short in it, and if you move it, it buzzes.
I don't
But
know.
it's fine now. It's fine.
I just click the buttons. Like, even though I went back to what I was, I don't know what's happening. I'm sorry.
It might have been me. I don't know. I just turned off my microphone and it started making that noise.
Oh. I don't know.
Strange.
But what I was saying was reprogramming your brain to enjoy the hard habits, like fitness equals health and well-being, not fatigue. Cleaning the house gets you with an environment that's conducive to peace of mind and not wasted time. Saving money equals future financial freedom and not sacrificing. And so obviously with breaking bad habits with this law, you want to make it unattractive and, highlight the benefits of not doing that habit to make it unattractive, and make it unattractive to keep doing that as possible. And Law 3 is making it easy, and he discusses reducing friction, basically. And so the more energy required, the less likely it's going to happen. habits are more likely to occur when they require less energy. So, for example, when I'm not working out and I'm trying to get back into working out, I start with like 15-minute workouts. And that helps build the momentum, because if it's more than 15 minutes, then I'm just going to be like, this is too much. I don't have time for that today. And then I don't do it. And so if you can make it super short, basically lighting a candle every day is more powerful than a bonfire once a month. And priming the environment for use. So, like, I will lay out my workout clothes at night so I can get moving in the morning. And I just did this the other night and did a 12-minute workout before I left for work. And I didn't have time for any of that, but it happened. And so, like, when I would go to the gym in the morning, for me to be successful at that, I would have to pack my gym bag with my clothes for work the night before and have my workout clothes ready on top of the gym bag to put on that morning and then go out the door. And like you were saying with the containers, like I have the containers. If I don't do that, probably not going to do it that morning. So, and he talks about using the 2-minute rule to stop procrastinating. And so find a 2-minute version of your desired habit. You want to scale down your desired outcome. So running a marathon becomes putting on your shoes and stretching for 2 minutes. And don't do more until you've mastered that 2 minutes. That's the good way to start. And breaking a bad habit, make it difficult. Make it as impractical as possible, and watch less TV. Unplug the TV. I covered my TV with tapestry. And if you're going shopping, leave your credit cards in your car. Even though, I mean, I guess it depends what store you're at, because they could easily look you up. but put barriers and boundaries that with those bad habits. And then law 4 is make it satisfying, and that's the most important rule of behavior change. And feeling the pleasure, feeling of pleasure is a message to the brain. This feels good, let's repeat it next time. And when you experience pleasure, your brain learns that behavior is worth remembering and repeating. And he states, what is immediately rewarded is repeated. What is immediately punished is avoided. So, yeah, that one's a good one. And the first 3 laws increase your chances of doing the habit this time, but the last law increases your chances of repeating the habit next time. So first 3 laws increase your chances of doing the habit this time. The last law increases your chances of repeating the habit next time. And the final thing getting a habit to stick is rewarding yourself and feeling successful, even if it's in the most small way. Feeling of success is a signal that your habit paid off and the work was worth the effort. Visual measurements can take form of like diet journals, workout logs. Some people will use like paper clips, hairpins, marbles for like their little wins, like just move one over. Using a habit tracker is basically, it's if it works for you. And it's showing, measuring yourself. If you're trying to lose weight, measure yourself, and then periodically measure again so that you can see the changes. Weighing yourself, same thing, but measuring is better probably. And crossing the task off of your to-do list, that's a hit of dopamine right there. And it's satisfying. So, and when there's a bad day, don't you don't realize how valuable it is just to show up. So lost days hurt more than successful days help you. Lost days hurt you more than successful days help you. And so he says, don't break the chain. Every time you cross a day off your calendar for a given habit, you create a chain. And so missing 2 days or links in a row is now the start of a bad habit. So, and there's a quote that I like, and I put on a post recently, within the last year, and it's like, oh my goodness, how does it go? It's basically like, you are what you practice, so be careful what you practice, and something along those lines. Because, if you're practicing not going to the gym, then that's the results you're getting. we don't see it like that, but that's what it is. And breaking the bad habit is make it unsatisfying. So behavior is less likely to occur when the pain is immediate. Being held accountable with a partner is a good way to keep your desired habits in check. So an example would be like, I owe you $10 every time I miss a workout. And, plus the respect that you lose for failing to do so, there's that too. But it's more likely to be influenced by concrete, immediate consequences. And so you can make a habit contract to hold yourself accountable. And then enlightenment is rarely a lightning strike. It is a slow illumination of daily ritual. Your destiny is hidden in your habits. Your identity is shaped by repetition, and the smallest sacred ritual can reshape your life. I know we're over time. Did you want to go over your questions, Linda?
If anyone has something they would like to ask or comment on from their own experiences, we would love to hear it.
There's lots of questions. But, we have to end it tonight at some point. I'm trying to go to bed.
Okay. We'll let you go to bed.
my dog has to be fed before I take him to bed. I have to take a shower before I take him to bed. So the longer this goes on, the longer that's good.
You have your rituals to do. That's good.
Yes.
We all have to. There's plenty of stuff out there for people. I don't know. I think I've already incorporated all those into my habits somewhere along the line. All your suggestions.
Good.
Because I have very.
So you're our role model.
I had so many hard things to go through growing up that I had to develop that. So it was part of the process of becoming Zen is not minding anything. So if things aren't right, you just immediately change them. And you know it. You do it right away. But when you get to the Zen part, which is like 40 years later, when you get there, you don't have to think about it anymore because you've incorporated them in a coherent way. It's that coherency of all the parts of you that make you into that Zen being where you don't have to think anymore. But more important, it's understanding that you can get there without going through all that if you can just wake up. Now, it sounds like just waking up is hard because very few people do it. But I've just been listening to this direct awakening type book called, I think I told it the other day, last time I saw it, Shifting into Freedom. I'm only halfway through it, I do see quite a few things in it that are very interesting to listen to, but it does require listening very carefully, because how you say things when you're talking about awareness is a very tricky thing, because you have more than one kind of awareness. You have sensual awareness, and you can have spatial awareness. You can have problem-solving awareness, and it's actually that problem-solving awareness that keeps us from waking up. Makes it hard for us. We have to recognize that, so that when you're solving your problems, you may not be helping yourself become aware of what's going on. So you have to. So you set aside some time of your day for problem solving, but the other times you're just trying to be aware of more things conscious than you normally are aware of. So like a 360-degree rotation around you and over the top of you. So you're seeing the fullness of the awareness that is you, that you're not connected with. I'm not connected, but I'm closer, and you're closer, and it's part of that understanding. Once you start understanding that there is something there, start looking for it. So if you read a little bit of that book, it might help you also recognize what you're looking for. But when that part of you becomes normal, the whole thing changes. Everything changes. That's the main number one thing that I'm looking for now. You have to do it in whatever works your way. It takes time. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I hope it does. Sometimes I do in a very fun. For me, anyway, it increases my ability to do more, because I have more faith in myself, more confidence. I keep doing things that I want to do. But we get some pleasure from doing them. You have to have that. There's no point. So find things to do that you would enjoy if you know how to do them. If you don't know how to do them yet, the kind of things that you do. I love you guys. Hope you have a good night.
Thank you. You too.
Have a good night, Joseph.
Okay, y'all have a good night. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.